Hello, welcome to a new video. Today we are gonna take a look at the completed setup for the month of January. Now I do have a video out of me setting up the monthly log, but that's about the only thing that I filmed just because I had to restart 2 months worth of work 2 days before the new year and get a new notebook and set it up and all of that. And I was also sick for the first 10 days of the new year, like I can barely function level of sick. And I'm only starting to feel better. I'm not over the sickness yet. I have a couple of days more of medicines and such before I'm completely done with it. And even still, I did have plans to film the setup process, but because of the aforementioned reasons, I didn't get around to actually working in this journal until like January 10th. And at that point I was like, okay, I need my setup ready so that I can get this video done, take pictures, populate the spreads because I've been using the old journal as a placeholder, and then also just continue to use it and enjoy it because 20 more days and the month is done and I will need to move to February. And I really do want to enjoy these spreads because I love how they turned out. So this is a long enough intro. Let's get into the monthly setup, and I'm gonna mention the supplies and everything I used and have it in the description box, of course. This notebook is from string&space. I got it from Amazon and I do hope it does not fail me. I'm really worried because one person said that they received a notebook from string&space as a gift, and it, like, as soon as they opened it, the pages fell out. So yeah, I'm a little worried, but I'm hopeful and I'm gonna do everything I can to keep it intact. Anyway, this is my yearly setup. I did change a few minor details, but I will have the setup of it linked below actually as well. And I have populated it already, but today we're gonna look at January. So one of the inspo images that my friend sent me, so she sent me 12 and I had the option to order them myself, and so she sent me a cover page by Tina's Diary, and it was for the month of January, but that's not why I chose it. It was of like a cabins theme, and I really wanted to do a cabins theme, and I also knew at that point that in December I was gonna do snowy mountain scenery and such, and I liked the idea of those two themes being consecutive or right after the other. So I decided to do a cabins in winter theme, but I didn't want to replicate Tina's entire setup or do something very, very similar. I just took the concept and then found images that I liked, and I found a set of 4, I think, and I will have the Pinterest board linked below. But I really liked the style of them, and I liked that they are by the same artist, so they are very similar, and yeah, went with that. I will put on the screen the one that I used here. I didn't follow it to a T. I changed some minor things and also went with my own colors, but I really wanted a pop of red and a pop of blue with some neutrals. I used gouache for this, and I'm gonna bring out the color palette, but one of the reasons why I didn't film it is I have no idea the specific color mixes that I used for these. I had the colors out, and actually I haven't watched my paint palette yet, so I can show you. So I mixed these in December of 2024 and did the illustration on the monthly log and didn't wash it. So when I did the rest, I just used these, rehydrated them because they are gouache, and that was helpful at some points, like for the pale colors, but not really helpful for the darker colors and getting the correct tones. And so my illustrations differ slightly page to page, but I don't mind that. I wouldn't want them to be exact. Anyway, so yeah, what I used for each specific color is not clear, but the colors I used are actually in this pouch. So I used gouache, as I've mentioned, and let me see. Whoa, okay, so let's start from lightest to darkest. Obviously, white paint for the snow and also to lighten everything up. We also have yellow ochre and scarlet and crimson red for the red, obviously, and then burnt sienna and yellow ochre mixed with a lot of white, and created a bunch of shades for that, for the brownish and neutral tones in the buildings and such. I decided to get a blue from a different gouache set, so this is from Rocco, because I knew this is the exact blue that I wanted, a cerulean blue. The cerulean blue from this set is not what I wanted. I feel like it should be a different color. It's not cerulean, so I used the cerulean blue for the blue buildings and also for the sky. For the sky being mixed with white and watered a lot. And then for the trees, I used Viridian green, but I think I mixed it with some brown at some point, I'm pretty sure, because this is much more grassy than like a true Viridian green, which is blue, I feel like, or leans towards blue, and of course black. So this is the color palette, and I used it to do all of the illustrations. I'm actually gonna line them up here. And then to letter January and the 01 here, I just used a brush pen, this one, a calligraphy pen, and I used the finest nib that I have. And I love this because this is waterproof, so I actually also used it to do a lot of the windows, because it was just easier to use a marker than paint. So this is it for the cover page. This is the monthly log. I reset it in this page, but actually I didn't repaint it. I just cut it straight out and glued it here. And there is a slight difference in the tone of paper from this one being from the old journal and this one from the String and Space journal, but I don't care at this point. This took more than an hour and 20 minutes, or maybe an hour and a half, so I wasn't going to repeat it. So yeah, I just cut it and glued it down. And then I felt like this area was empty, so I ended up adding a quote that says, "The cabin, a place of rest, relaxation, and tranquility." So in the old setup, I had an extra row accidentally, so this time I eliminated it. And then I used a really pale Crayola Colors of the World marker to do the second row highlights. I should have it here. It is this one, the Extra Light Almond. So in the old journal, I used light medium almond, I think, but I did a test on a spare piece of this paper and I really didn't like how dark that was, so I used this, and it is really faint but there, and it matches the neutral tones that I've used well, so I love that. So this is the calendar, and on this page we have my dashboard, we could say, so working on freelance and finance tracking. I forgot to add the I for tracking, and also the C, but the C, I can't fix that. I feel like I should add January here, but I'm scared to add it and then not like it, so I'm gonna keep it. This is what I'm really excited about. So I've had this idea in mind for years. So in Tina's video, and I will link it below because it's great and she's an amazing artist. She was actually one of the few bullet journalers who inspired me to start using gouache, especially in my Bujo. And in her setup with the cabins theme, she did a small area, oval shaped in the middle of some cabins and such, without necessarily the scenery and greenery, but just the cabins. And then it was for 1 week, and she took out arrows for each of the days. I will find a picture and put it on the screen, but as soon as I saw that many years ago, I knew that if I ever did a cabins theme, I would do something similar, but raise it upwards to the top of the page and then make it a Dutch door layout so that I can view the scenery from whichever spread I am on. And that is exactly what I did. So I used the same color palette and did this. This is actually one image and I will put it on the screen. I just duplicated it and reversed it so that the houses are not facing the same direction, if you will. So this red house is the mirror image of this beige house, and then I made sure that the houses on the same placement, if you will, are not the same color to the best of my abilities, and then did everything else. And then cut a Dutch door. So because the year starts on a Wednesday, I made this type of layout, and then I used rounded corners which created these star shapes in the middle, and I really like them. And for the font, I just used my regular cursive with the really small brush pen and just wrote them in a simple calligraphy, and did the second line highlights. Because this is such a pale color, it was really easy to get the second line highlights. So that was week 1, we could say, week 2, week 3, week 4, and then I had an extra side, so I put my trackers here for books and outfits, and also some health trackers, but not all of them are health, just this one to track my headaches and such. I actually forgot to keep track of these in the mock-up, I'm gonna call it, in the old Bujo, so I just kept track of the headaches. But anyway, I adore this layout. I love it. It is my favorite from this setup, just because I get to enjoy it. You know, it's such an easy way to draw something beautiful and then use it for multiple spreads. And this time when I cut the Dutch door, I kept quite a significant part, almost 2 dots of the page. And what I did, because I wanted them to look continuous, so I didn't want to cut, I don't know how to explain it, but this page, right, it would be one spread. I cut the page in the middle, I think, or the last page, and then kept this one. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. Let me open up a different page. So if let's say this is the first weekly, right? So I cut horizontally, but I didn't cut it out, so it would still be continuous, and then cut the rest out and left a little flap, if that makes any sense at all. And honestly, I wouldn't say that this took a long time. It didn't take more time than the cover page or this. I do take my time with the paintings, and I go through maybe unnecessary layers and elongate it a bit, but I like that because I do enjoy the process. So yeah, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. But that is it for my entire weekly log, and I'm really excited to populate it and use it for the rest of the month. The last spread is my monthly review. So I did a very simple spread, we could say, with rounded cornered border, and wrote January in review here, and my sections scaled it back a little bit and didn't put a lot. Honestly, I'm not feeling the monthly review anymore. I'm a little burnt out from having it for every single month last year, but I also know that it holds valuable information and I would like to have it in the future. So I kept it, but fewer sections and more general, we could say. But I knew that I wanted the illustration to be down here, and I'm gonna put on the screen the one that I chose for this spread. Very similar, but also slightly different. There's like, for example, the blue color is a little different page to page. The orange tone here, it doesn't shine through here much, and it's also, the beiges here are darker, but I don't mind these slight variations. And then this might be my stepping stone towards a reading journal, but I don't want one right now. However, I do like the idea of summarizing my readings. Usually I have some statistics in my review page, but this time I decided that I'm gonna print the covers of the books that I read and glue them here, make a small collage page, just like a reading review of the month. That is why I titled it January in Books. And then I'm gonna have some statistics at the bottom, probably in some pie charts, and a frame key. So if it's outlined once, it's a new read. If I double lined it, it's a reread and such. I bought heart stickers to denote my favorite of the month and a classic favorite of mine and such if I reread one of my favorite books. But that's how I plan to do that, and this will obviously have to be once the month is over, so early February. And if you guys would like to see me, set it up and such, you let me know and I'll make a video out of it. But this is actually it for my January setup. It is really compact, I would say, and really beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it. It is cozy and beautiful. We have reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're interested in more Bujo content from me, definitely check the playlists. And also I will point you towards the January setup and Project B, which is a custom Bujo for my friend. I did a bees theme and it is absolutely gorgeous, so check it out. I will post the link of it in the comments when it comes out. It is beautiful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.